Corporal Angie Willhite, Shreveport Police Department. Hey, Miss Angie, welcome back to KEEL. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Good morning.
We had a shooting yesterday. I guess it was approximately or maybe exactly at the corner of Southfield and River Road. When I say shooting, am I being melodramatic if I said it was actually a gunfight? Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's very fair. It did happen just around 1:30 p.m. We had two groups of individuals that engaged in a fight right there at the corner, like you said, of East Southfield and River Road. During the course of that fight, the men, what started as a fistic encounter turned into the two men arming themselves with guns and shooting each other. One suffered from life-threatening injuries.
Were they on foot? Were they in cars? How many people were there at this time? Were they the only two? What happened?
Well, I'm not going to release a lot of those details right now, Mr. Robert. We do have some witnesses that investigators are needing to interview. We have made an arrest in the case. Investigators charged 19-year-old Casey Cawthorn with one count of attempted second-degree murder last night, but they're wanting to hold some of the information so as not to compromise the investigation until we can get those other witnesses.
What sparked it? Do we have any ideas on what was the beef between these guys?
Well, we do. I can tell you there's a lot I can't tell you, but I will tell you it was a part of an ongoing argument.
Ages of these guys, how are these young men? What do you know about them?
19 and 20-year-olds.
Oh. And why there? Do they live in the area? Did they come from another area?
They do not live in the area, and those are, again, some details I just can't release until after the investigators give me the go-ahead on that. Again, we have some witnesses that are coming in, and we have to be careful with what we give out right now.
How many shots were fired? First of all, let's start here. What was the total length of the argument to shooting? How much time did they take? Where did it start? Where did it finish? How much, as odd as it sounds, how much ground did they cover? How long did it take before? Go ahead.
Okay. The whole encounter overall around 5 minutes, maybe less. It was contained to that intersection right there. It actually took place in the roadway right there at River Road and East Southfield. So everything took place right there. Now the two people that engaged in shooting each other, they of course remained on scene. Several of the people that were with them fled.
How many shots again?
Somewhere around 10.
Okay.
So this literally was a gunfight. I mean, like OK Corral, the Wyatt Earp movie. They're behind trees. They're firing at each other.
What kind of guns?
Handguns.
Any houses hit?
No, ma'am. We were very fortunate. We don't believe we haven't had any reports. Our investigators walked home to home along with patrol officers looking for any homes or vehicles that may have been struck with gunfire, and they weren't able to identify any. And as far as I know right now, we haven't gotten any calls from homeowners there saying, hey, I got home and I had a bullet hole in my car in my house. So we were very fortunate. I mean, I don't know if you know the setup of that neighborhood, but there's homes on both sides of the street. They sit close together. There were people actually out at that time.
Or kind of like a boulevard. You've got the boulevard down the middle, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
Angie, we're talking to Angie Willhite, Corporal with Shreveport Police Department. A lot of people were posting on social media that you guys had a big force at the Cornerstone Apartments, which is right there next to Albertsons, that perhaps these folks came from there. Can you dispel that? Is that accurate, not accurate?
What we were doing is circulating. We had a vehicle description, and when we're given a vehicle description, the officers that aren't needed on the primary scene, we're going to start circulating and try to see if we can pick up those vehicles that have been described to us that may have fled the area. Of course, we're going to check apartment complexes. That was not the only apartment complex we were at, and it certainly wasn't the only location. We were all up and down Broadmoor. We were in all the nearby apartment complexes. We were along Uri Drive. We circulated extensively. We looked for that vehicle that was involved that we were looking for.
Any evidence they came from that apartment complex?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What about the wounded? You said life-threatening. How serious? Where was he shot?
Both had gunshot injuries to the upper body. The gentleman, hang on, let me give you his name, Erin.
Okay.
20-year-old Anthony Jenkins did suffer some life-threatening injuries as a result of that gunfire, and he is still at Ochsner's LSU Health, and I don't have an update on his condition. I know that it was still serious yesterday.
I read last night, I don't recall where, that it was one of the officers with a quick clot kit was responsible that actually saved his life. Is that true?
I don't know. I haven't been made aware of that if that was the case.
Shootings.
But I'll tell you this, our officers carry those. We're very fortunate, very blessed to have those as part of our uniform, and our officers are willing to use them. They've received the training, and they use them often. They save a lot of lives with those things.
Shootings in the middle of the day in a neighborhood like this causes a lot of concern in our community. What message do you have for residents in that area?
You know, Miss Erin, that's one of those things. We're talking about something that stemmed from an ongoing feud. It could have happened anywhere. Literally, it could have happened anywhere. It wasn't specific to that neighborhood. We don't have any reason to believe that any of those individuals lived in that neighborhood. It just happened to be where they crossed paths.